Alright, so in the previous video we found some formulae using the half angles in terms of sine A, and these two basically here, and now in this video we'll find out the signs of these two, where they are positive and where they are negative. Okay, so let's start with the first one. We have here the sine of A over 2 plus cosine A over 2. So we can write this as square root 2 times 1 over square root 2 sine A over 2 plus cosine A over 2 times 1 over square root 2. What we just did is just multiply and divide by the square root 2. Okay, now if we rearrange this and write the 1 over square root 2 as this cosine pi over 4, and add, and then write this second 1 over square root 2 as sine pi over 4. Then we get sine pi over 4 cosine A over 2. Then we can see that this is just the formula for sine x cosine y plus cosine x sine y. Then we can write it as square root 2 times sine of A over 2 plus pi over 4. Okay, so similarly we can find the second one, that is with the negative sign, sine A over 2 minus cosine A over 2, which will be equal to square root 2 sine of A over 2 minus pi over 4. There's just a difference of a minus sign. So now let's see finally where they are positive and where they are negative. Okay, so talking about this first one, we have square root 2 sine, just forget about the square root sign, square root 2 first. Let's first talk about this sine A over 2 plus pi over 4. So where this angle is positive, then there this whole, where is sine A over 2 plus cosine, this will be positive, where this whole angle will be positive, and it's positive only in the interval 0 to pi. We can see that this graph of sine is, this is 0 and this is pi, and this is the positive y-axis and this is the negative y. You can see that it's positive only in the region 0 to pi. So this whole lies in 0 to pi, which means 0 will be less than A over 2 plus pi over 4 will be less than pi. So rearranging it, we get minus pi over 4 less than A over 2 less than pi. Minus pi over 4 is just 3 pi over 4. We can further write it as basically 2n pi minus pi over 4 to 2n pi plus 3 pi over 4. So if theta lies in this region, then it will be positive. So this is the region of minus pi over 4 to 3 pi over 4. So let's mark it in the unit circle. So minus pi over 4 is this region, and 3 pi over 4 will be this region. excuse me. So if theta lies in this region, then sine A/2 plus cosine A/2 will be positive. Okay, so now let's talk about the second one. The second one was sine of A/2 minus cosine A/2, and we wrote it as a square root 2 sine A/2 minus pi/4. Now again considering this angle, so it will be positive and again 0 to pi. So 0 less than A/2 minus pi/4 to pi. Rearranging this further, adding pi/4 less than 5 pi/4. So this whole will be positive in the region pi/4 to 5 pi/4. Or more clearly you can write as, in the general way, it is 2n pi plus pi/4 to 2n pi 2 n pi plus 5/4. So this is the region, this is the interval, range, whatever you want to say. So it's pi/4. Pi/4 is this to 5 pi/4. So if it lies in this region, then sine of sine A/2 minus cosine A/2 will be negative. Oh sorry, positive. Minus cosine A/2 is going to be positive. Otherwise it, wherever it is, it will be negative. Like if it lies in this region, then it will be negative. And this is 0, this is pi, this is 3 pi/2, this is minus pi/4 as well as 7 pi/4. Okay, so for example, if this lies between 5 pi/4 and 3 pi/2 in this region, then it will be negative. Okay, so basically this one is for positive and this one is for negative. Okay, now let's also do an example for this. We have a question: 2 times sine A/2 equals minus of square root 1 plus sine A minus square root of 1 minus sine A. Now we have to find the range of A/2. Find the range. From the previous formula, if we remember, then sine A/2 plus cosine, this must be minus of square root 1 plus sine A, and the negative one will be cosine A/2 will be minus, sorry, okay, so now if you see that this positive one is also negative and the second one is also negative. So it means that if you remember this circle, excuse me, in which region both of them are negative, we have to take the intersection of that. Cosine a right a over 2 and cosine a over 2, this one is a positive in this region, so definitely in 3 pi over 4 to 7 pi over 4 it will be negative, or 9 or negative pi over 4 minus pi over 4, and in this region sine a over 2 and minus cosine a over 2 is positive, so in this region it will be negative, which is 5 pi over 4 and pi over 4. So let's write that down and take the intersection of that, which means 5 pi over 4 sine 3 pi over 4 to 7 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4 to pi over 4. Pi over 4 is this region. From 5 pi over 4 to this region will be basically 2 pi plus, we have to add this pi over 4, that is 9 pi over 4, but we have to take the intersection, that's why we have to take the common region to both, which will be this region. So let me write down the answer straightly. It will be 9 pi over 4. So if you take the intersection of this, then you get the region 5 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4 to 7 pi over 4. So this will be the range of a over 2. Or more precise, if you want to write, you can use 2n pi plus 5 pi over 4 to 2n pi plus 7 pi over 4. Okay, there is one more way. If you think this as a negative angle, that will be minus 3 pi over 4, and this is already minus pi over 4, then you can write it as 2n pi minus 3 pi over 4 to 2n pi minus pi over 4. There are two answers basically. Okay.